Now today we're going to put a scope on our Sako 100, and I want to have all my tools and everything ready to go first. And if you're going to be mounting scopes on any rifle, I would highly recommend getting a gunsmithing screwdriver set. You know, most of the bases and rings come with these Allen keys, and there is no way you can get equal pressure with these things. And if you're ever going to end up stripping screws or breaking screws, it's going to be with one of these. So I don't use them at all. I've got screwdrivers, and the bits that come with these sets are really precise, and you can keep really nice precise pressure on them, so no way you're going to strip ahead. So the 100 comes equipped with a base, and you'll see it sits just like that, and you'll see how far back it extends on the action. And this is so you can get your back ring back far enough to get proper eye relief with your scope, but when you remove the barrel from the rifle, the scope goes with it. So this base is unique. So it comes with the rifle. We're just going to use a set of Optilock rings with it. And I've got some extra low 30 mil rings here. So first thing we want to do is mount these rings to the base. And they just sit right in a groove there. And tighten that up. But super strong system with these Optilocks, but it's very, very simple to do yourself. So the screws come with the base here that actually mount into the rings. Now, they say they want about 80 inch-pounds of pressure on these screws, and my torque wrench that I've got here only goes to 60. So what we're going to do first is tighten it to 60. And then I'm just going to take my screwdriver and just try and get a little bit extra on it, but it's pretty hard to do anything by hand more than about 60 pounds. So there we go. So that's all you do. So now we're going to set this up onto the gun. And I've just loosened these side screws so the clamps on the other side stay on. If they happen to fall off, it's no big deal, and they're just going to slide right into place there. So you see it's right into those grooves on the receiver. So now we're going to tighten these up. Just make sure those clamps come in equal on the other side. Looks good. Now I'm going to take my torque wrench, and again, these are supposed to be around 80 pounds. So it's so nice having your gun in a vise for this. And there we go. And I'll just take my screwdriver and see what I can get on there for a little bit extra. But probably not much. So that's as simple as it is to mount the base and the ring. So I'm going to grab my scope now, and we'll get it on there, and I'll show you how to finish the job. Okay, so I just loosened all the screws off on my ring tops, and I'm just going to pop those off and set them down here. Just going to leave the screws in place. And you'll notice with the Optilock rings, they come with that plastic insert. So what we want to do is just pop that around the scope tube. And now we're going to set our scope up roughly where it wants to be. Then I'm just going to snug the rings into place, and then I'll set my eye relief after that. But I like to get these plastic pieces so the slit is just on the side, and that way when you clamp down with the rings, they come together nicely. So we'll tighten up our rings just snug, and we'll get the eye relief set. So make sure when you snug these up that you can still move the scope forward and backward and still rotate the scope. But the other thing to be careful of when you're snugging up your rings is make sure you have equal space on both sides. You don't want to crank one side down so it's tight and then try to tighten on the other side. You'll get uneven pressure on your scope tube that way. So just make sure it comes down nice and straight. And it's pretty normal for there to be just a slight gap in there once we go to torque those. But the only way to really check eye relief is pull it out of the vise and look through it. And basically when you shoulder it, you should have a normal ring. So if I have to bring my eye forward to get a normal ring, it just means that scope needs to come back just a little bit. There, I've got a perfect ring now. So what I want to do is just check, get that so it looks fairly level. And then I'm just going to put a set of levels on it to truth it. But that looks really good. Got a perfect ring there. So we'll put it back in the vise. Now what we're going to do is just put a set of levels on it. So I'm going to put one on the receiver and then make sure my gun is level in the vise. Then I'm just going to set the other level on top and just rotate my scope until it's level. And it doesn't take much. There, we're perfect on those two right now. So, take those off. I'm just going to tighten these up just a little bit more and then take one more look through it and then we'll give these to the proper torque. There we go. Yeah, it looks perfect. So I'm just going to finish tightening up those rings and then we'll torque them. And then we should be ready to go. So there we go. We've got those rings snugged up everywhere now. And I'm just going to take my torque wrench and I've got it set at 18 inch-pounds. And this is pretty critical to get these because these are screws that you can snap like nothing. So I don't know if there's a proper way to do this, but I like to just kind of go from corner to corner. There we go. And go to the other side. And just slowly do them up. You don't want to crank any one side too hard. You feel this doesn't feel like it's very tight, but it's all you need. And like I say, you can break these screws pretty easily if you don't. So. But don't try and do this without having a proper torque wrench or the proper screw bits because you're just going to end up costing yourself a lot of money. So, and once you've got them all, I just like to go around to do one quick check all the way around, make sure they all click, and really that's as simple as it is to put a scope on the Sako 100. Now comes the exciting part. We head to the range.